What up? Welcome to Trading Unfiltered. Big Dog, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Oh, let's do some freaking trade recap on a beautiful Friday leading into a 3-day weekend. By the way, it's this man's birthday. I
Yeah,
should have a cool video for you or something, but I don't. But happy freaking birthday.
hey, it was yours. What, 2 days ago?
2 days ago. What are the odds? I took my birthday. Oh, I didn't even trade. You traded, and it looks like it paid off for you.
Yeah, at first I didn't think it was going to. I was trading like shit in the morning, and then it ended up, you know, I'm just not great right off the open. Never have been.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of our yin and yang thing, you know? That's where I feel
Yeah,
like most of my trades come from is right there first thing in the morning, but it works out. You had some good ones though. Anyway, we're gonna get into this, but yeah, that's trade recap this thing and send you out on the road for your birthday.
sounds good, man.
All right. So per usual, Sellers has some bangers. Mine are pretty conservative. Yeah, mine had some good ones today too. And I like you. I didn't have high hopes for the day because the gappers this morning when I got to my computer was like what, 2?
Yeah,
Man,
man.
it
Old,
wasn't nothing.
old favorite of mine, IBIO.
That was one of 2 gappers this morning at about 6:30, 7 o'clock our time. Um,
Scam
yep. But they turned out all right. We had some solid pairs kick in, had some good movers kick in. So Sellers is going to show his normal screenshots. I was going to do the same, but I attempted something a little different today. Took a screen recording of my screen and was going to share some live trading. However, we've mentioned this before. I have an ultra wide and 2 vertical monitors. You have all vertical monitors. Nothing we record or try to screen share comes out the way we want it to come out. We're working on that. I'm going to figure that out. That is my goal this weekend, is to figure that shit out because I have little to no patience for technology. It drives me crazy. But I'm going to show a video.
We'll just start recording it with our phones.
Damn, right? I'm going to figure it out. I got to figure it out. If there's a problem in front of me, I got to figure it out. And it's a problem. I'm going to figure it out. But for now, I'm going to show this video of SPRC. It's my trade on SPRC. It was a nice little solid single to start the day off. It is a little blurry, but I'm still going to show it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. But my plan on this was, we wanted the 145, 150 area. We talked about it in pre-market. It never quite got there. So this video is basically a half-size trade. But sometimes at open, if it shows some weakness, I like to hit those things at open. But anyway, I'm going to put this video up. And I am going to talk through it. Like I said, it's a little blurry. You can make out the numbers. You can see what's what. But for the record, when I use level 2, which is what I'm going to talk about in this video, I am primarily looking at the colors anyway. All these blocks of colors, that's really what I'm watching. And 2, just for the sake of this, like I said, this stock has some nice distribution in pre-market. I've talked about that before with some other trades. It ended up opening below VWAP, which I'll start showing here in a second. But to me, when things distribute nicely over pre-market and they open below VWAP, that is a major sign of weakness. We still wanted the pop. We wanted the pop up here at about pre-market high or just a little bit above it. That's what we wanted, and we didn't get it. And I still took this trade half size, but I'm going to just play it because the first few seconds of this are pre-market, and that's me flipping back to my Thinkorswim charts because they are my first love. But this trade, so the market's getting ready to open here in like 10 seconds, which, like I said, I know it's blurry. So the market just opened, hence the craziness. As you can see, it opened below VWAP. And what I'm seeing on this initial open is weakness to not get above VWAP. It never could even touch above VWAP right at open. So I'm like, oh, it's nice and weak after this pre-market distribution. Never showed a sign of strength. So I started a half size position. Like I said, I still wanted to pop to 145, 150. We didn't get it. So I played it accordingly. But I went ahead and entered because it never showed any sign of strength at open to break above VWAP. And as this tape continues to move, what I'm seeing, and you'll see, so this is a perfect stop right here. Like there's an amount of buyers and sellers as far as the amount of orders. I'm not talking about size, but the amount of orders are even. The amount of people that want to buy this at 130 and the amount of people that want to, or that are wanting to sell it at 131 is pretty much gridlocked. Which could go either way, but where you have to look into this a little deeper, and again, I know this is blurry, but there's a big ask here. Somebody's trying to sell a lot of shares at 131. So that for me was a key moment. But as it continues to play out, what I keep seeing is this huge amount of people, sellers, trying to get rid of this thing at different prices all throughout open. Huge orders are stacked to sell all the time. So when I use level 2, I'm looking at color blocks. And what I'm looking for, and what I call, like, I guess, a heavy tape, means there's a lot of sellers in the tape. There is a ton of sellers that are lined up here at 131. And throughout this video, you will see where the yellow tape, or I'm sorry, the yellow color on the right side of this is consistently bigger than the left side. The yellow colors over here are the people that are bidding on it at that 130 price, and it just pales in comparison to the amount of sellers at 131. And now if this were flipped consistently, that's more of a bullish sign where it looks like it could go up. But throughout this whole opening process, I'm just going to start playing it. Typically you see the yellow, for me, because I'm looking at color blocks, are on the right side, and it just keeps happening over and over and over. And sellers are just stacking their orders consistent. I almost added to this when I started watching this, but I don't like to go heavy into weakness. I'm looking to hit pops. But you can see it's like time after time, the amount of sellers is, I mean, this happens over and over. This is another perfect spot to stop it. Huge amount of people looking to get rid of this thing at 129, but it just doesn't stop. There is a period of time here. I'm just going to let it play and talk through it a little bit. But basically, it's the same thing over and over. The amount of asks, sellers just keeps piling up every step of the way. Every now and then it tries to get some momentum, and the buyers might get executed. And even if they are, it's just the sellers just quickly like jump back in and start dumping this thing. It never was able to get momentum at open. And usually when we're looking to short strength, we're looking to do that in the first 5, at least for me, the first 5 minutes. I think both of us are ideally looking to do this pretty early on. But this thing just never had any momentum.
Not at all.
Now I'm going to pause it here for a second and try to skip ahead to more of a candle that I wanted to show specifically. This one right here. So this is the third 2-minute candle. And we can see here. So one thing we talk about gap and crap. And in my mind, when something gap and craps, this is kind of what it looks like. But on a ideal gap and crap, when it gets up to that VWAP level, that purple line, I'm looking for that quick touch and fail. I don't want it to hang around. I don't want it to eclipse it. I want it to literally kiss it and fail. I want VWAP to be a super hard line of resistance. And it was. I almost added there too. Again, I kept it half size. I just don't like to go heavy into weakness. But you'll see in this candle that it does start getting some strength. We're starting to see in this, I pause it again, but just you see way more yellow, way more people bidding on this thing at these prices than there are sellers. So I'm looking at that and I'm watching because I want to see how that reacts when it gets closer to VWAP and see if that continues to be the tail of the tape, so to speak. So it's creeping, but as you can see, it touches VWAP and it's like it can't break over it. Every time the buyers kind of hit this tape heavy on the left side, the sellers line right back up on the right side. It never even got above VWAP, if I remember right. It was a super hard level of resistance.
Yeah, it just tapped VWAP and that was it.
Yep. And now the tape kind of shifts again where it looked like the buyers may take it. Tape kind of shifts here in a second and the sellers will take back over. Because right now the buyers are trying, but they just never quite could do it. And they do it multiple times or attempt to do it multiple times. But there the sellers kind of just start taking back over. And then when that candle touched VWAP on green, and this candle here is about to flip red, that's a good sign that it's done.
Oh, yeah.
Touched VWAP, tried its best, failed, and the candle flipped red. That to me is a great sign that like this is going to work out. I regretted not hitting an ad, to be honest with you, in this moment. But again, I'm not great at shorting weakness. The reason I put my mouse there in this particular screenshot is because that line there is a nice level, a support level, if you will, from pre-market, where it's like it broke out above that level. These wicks kind of touch it and bounce. Wicks here kind of touch it and bounce. So I was watching that 123, 122, even down to 120 level to see how it would react there. And I think I was talking to you about that this morning, that I think it said I needed to fail 122 or 123 because that was a nice level of support.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of does chop around there for a little bit. So let me see. Trying to skip ahead here a little bit. Yeah, so here is when it really does fail that level. And I think it fails it pretty hard because the sellers are back stacked up again at 123. It's like they're trying to get out while they can get out. And there's some big... I know it's blurry and I know it's hard to see, but this guy up here, this particular, I say guy, this order that's up here at $1.22 has been sitting up here with pretty massive size for a while. So somebody's trying to get out, or appears to look like they're trying to get out. And they slowly are. And eventually what happens, let me fast forward a little bit. There it is. Let me go back. So here's a big fail. When it gets down to that 1-200 line, that's where I'm looking for my first cover. And it does start failing pretty hard. Again, just way more sellers than buyers, non-stop selling. So I went ahead and covered some there. And again, let me jump up some here. Here, it looks like it might be trying to climb up, but it just doesn't sustain.
That was a good cover there.
Yeah, because it kind of rode that 1-200. So here's where I'm watching this. If it had broke above that 125, I may have gotten all out. Oh, here's where I'm looking at some filing information. Ignore that. So it's kind of chopping around. I'm looking for one more solid fail to lock in for like a solid 10%. I'm looking for it to really flush below this line, and it still looks heavy to me. Buyers just aren't stepping in. Sellers are in total control. It's never had a single sign of momentum. There, I got a little worried because there were some big buyers on that 118 level. This is me looking at Thinkorswim, and I see it fail a little bit.
I could not believe the way that thing just died at open.
Yeah,
that
it did.
Huge selling volume.
So here I'm looking at Thinkorswim because I love their charts. I see it's really starting to fail, so I've flipped back. Here in just a second, I'm going to flip back to DOS. There it is. And I'm like, yep, there it is. Big flush. Nice flush anyway. Shouldn't say big. And at that point, I'm all out. So 1-200. I had said in the chat on this particular day that I like to go into Friday with a win. So I was looking for just a nice single. That is a 10% trade. Doesn't look like much, but that's 10%. And if you could literally do that every day on average, you would be amazed at what it could do to your account.
Oh, yeah.
So normally on stocks like that, I would keep on some lotto size. even like, I don't know, 20% of my position, 25% of my position, whatever. But on a Friday, I wanted to go in on a good note, played it conservative, just went ahead and got all out. This thing did proceed to just tank. I mean, it went down to like $1. So I left like another 25-ish% on the table. But again, I caught a nice piece of the move, pretty low stress, 10% on the position. Solid start to the day.
Oh yeah, dude, that was solid.
And I know, like I said, the video is blurry. I'm going to work on that. But again, the concept for me with level 2 is, for me, it's colors. I'm all about the colors. I will look at level 2 sometimes a little closer to see big, big, huge people on the buy side of the ass side, with big numbers, I guess. But just because they're there doesn't mean they're going to get executed either. Especially when you see massive, massive size. Sometimes it's just them trying to spoof the tape, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see, for me, and I learned this from Tim Grittani, he's 1,000 times better than I'll ever be. But he never claimed or said he was like a big level 2 guy. But he did get into, he kind of kept it on the side or at certain areas of his, screens, and was more so looking at the colors. If he saw a bunch of yellow on this side or green on, green on one side, yellow on one side, or however he had it set up for him, that kind of just, it was a quick, I don't know how to describe that. It's just, for me, it's like a quick area of confluence, right? We're all about confluence. We say it all the time. So if I see a bunch of yellow on the right-hand side consistently time after time after time, that for me is a good sign of confluence that it's done. Because I don't trade just off a level 2. I don't know anybody that does. But if I see the color blocks look like that for me, that's a great sign. So in the future, I'm going to try to get a better video that's not blurry and make it better, because that bothered me. Before this video, I probably bitched about that for 30 minutes before we started this thing.
Oh yeah.
Really freaking bothers me. But anyway, you can see the color schemes. That's pretty much how I use level 2. Just another area of confluence. It's never one thing for us. It's multiple. But anyway, let's get into your stuff. Yours are better than mine, per usual.
Nah, man, I had some bad ones in the morning. They could have been really good, but
Yeah, but you had some good. Like, we both MVLA. I think that was a ticker.
yeah, man, we were talking about that one early. That when it was only at like 120,000 volume.
That turned out to be a good one. Scary, but good.
Yeah, I think we both got wicked out on our first entries.
Yeah, and then I quickly added.
Oh yeah,
I ended up adding it back, but yeah, we both got wicked out of some size there. But that thing was so low volume, man. That was a little scary. All-time highs too.
Yeah, I know. Man, those all-time high fades are good. Like that other one today, that OKYO, whatever it was that everybody else hit.
I couldn't get shares. I don't know where people found shares. I don't know if it was Guardian or TZ or what. I couldn't get shares, but
I didn't even look, but
I looked on Cobra multiple times, and I'm pretty sure that's the one I could not find shares on. But it happens. Sometimes you just can't find shares, and it may have saved me from losing. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know, man. I'm going to show this one first. So this is SPRC, and
it's the same one for the video I just showed.
Man, and I really screwed this one up. I told myself if it got to my entry, which was 137, I cut it at 138, which was the dead top of that move. And yes, I know that volume hadn't come in, but like me and you were talking about, I don't want to. I've gotten skipped up in pre-market hard before. I know you have.
My big out of my top 10 biggest losses, probably 6 of them are pre-market.
Yeah, man. Like what was that one from a week or two ago? It was like VS or something we were watching, and it
VS went nuts in pre-market, and people
yeah,
got burned in pre-market because they hit it about where a nice spot where you hit it on a wick
about like right
down,
somewhere like right here. Yeah, because
and
I
then
was
it,
watching that VS the other day, and I thought about
yep,
hitting it. I
and then
didn't.
it ripped up another 100% after that first leg up. So, and the thing is with pre-market, and this, we talk about this a lot as far as risk management perspective, but you can't put in a stop, and it can be a pain to get out if something's going absolute like VS. When that thing went straight parabolic in pre-market, people ain't getting out on that.
No, man. I mean, you're gonna. That's the thing, and that's what I always try to think about. Is like I know that you can you can nail some sick entries in pre-market, but for me, like the all the times that it does work, the time that it doesn't work is going to cost you
Yep.
terribly.
Yep.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that nail these tops in pre-market that don't show where they've gotten absolutely reamed in pre-market as well. So
I've
I don't know.
always wondered for people who are, people that trade full time or a lot, like you or I or whatever, right? I'm wondering, I've always wondered how many of those people are truly profitable in their pre market trading.
That's a good question. I know that 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 reverse long guy, David
Yeah.
Capablanca,
Yeah.
he said that like I know that he said that he was like profitable trading just pre-market at one point or something like that.
That could be. I don't trade pre market. You know my situation with the kids, this, that, and the other. You can't put stops in. So I just don't trade pre market, but I also have a hard time. I'm all about volume in pre-market is just it's a whole nother world, man. It can be tricky because it's so low volume. It can skip up on air. It can I don't know. It's just not my forte. I know I'm not good at it, so I don't even attempt it. But that's just me. But that's also because I got kids running around. I'm trying to get ready for school. So in my mind, this is good risk management. You cut it at a spot where it easily could have skipped up another 10, 20 cents like it was nothing. Because every gap we looked at on this stock, because we looked at all the gaps in the last year, and there were multiple gaps where you were on your exit, it went up another 30% before open.
Exactly, man, and that's like what I was gonna touch on too is the historical data on this stock
Yep.
because we've traded this stock several times just in the past couple of months, and
Oh yeah.
I mean usually it does pop it open, and that's what like we said, that's what we wanted, that's what I wanted. I mean, it seems backwards when you think about it, wanting to short into strength, but I just I hit it there, and I was thinking, if that's all that it is, then I'll stop out. Or that, then I've damn near top ticked it. And if it would have done this little move right here, like right here before open, and like if it didn't do this, I probably would have, because this is half size. I probably would have just added full size here, but because it did that and kind of freaked me out. It had my thinking all wrong on it, and I was like, well, I had limit orders in at like 150 and 152 or 3. Like I'll spread them out sometimes, but anyway, that was my plan, and I know it does this little distribution, whatever. Everybody knows in hindsight.
Everybody's a good trader in hindsight. Like in hindsight, I wish I would have added multiple times to SPRC, but I kind of just followed my rules and didn't add into the weakness. And it is what it is. Trading is hard. Trading in hindsight is easy. So
Yeah, all the times that I would have hit this in pre-market, full size with the history of the stock, every other time that I would have done it, it would have like gapped up another 5-10% right at open.
yep. And this stock in particular, per its history, has done that. It
Exactly.
has, ran hard sometimes right before open or at open. So I don't think it's bad risk management. It is what it is. It happens. It sucks, and it will happen again. We will top tick cover things. It's part of the game. But this is just us being transparent and showing it is what it is.
Yep, it happens, man. I'll show my other one that I kind of messed up too. Let's see here. Yeah, this one. You. And man, like this is another one where I'm hammering it with a bunch of size and then like taking a little bit of size off and then hammering more, and then I 30% move and I don't take any off. And then it pops back up and I add a little more here. And so then volume's coming in.
Yep.
It was tricky. And so I stop out the whole thing right here.
And this was another like kind of a lower volume.
And this was
play,
low flow
like-
too, man. This was low flow and it stopped before that $4 level, which was really where we both wanted it at.
Yeah, we both kept saying all day long we wanted that thing at 4.
Yeah, and like this wick right here, I was like, that's it. But sometimes you'll get punished hitting that wick. But I hit it all the size and then stop out. I had to stop out right here. I was a little less than break even. It went past my break even, and then I stopped out. Like right at I think I made like $8 or something like that in total. It sucks. It doesn't even pay for the locates, but
Right. But again, it happens and you kept risk management in check,
yep.
which is the most important thing, because let's just pretend that this went parabolic beyond your first entry, because we've seen that 1,000 times, right? And
Yep.
you didn't cover and you hit a max loss on the day, then you wouldn't get to trade these other tickers that you're about to show where you freaking slaughtered them.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. It's like I felt myself going on tilt, or almost going on tilt, after this stop out, especially after I saw that wick and slam. I wanted to mark it in on that. You know what I mean? I'm thinking it's going.
Yeah. Yep.
When it holds this trend line, it goes back above VWAP. I was like, man, if this thing goes to 4, I am going all in. But anyway, hindsight, it didn't work out. Yeah, everybody, all the armchair traders, they all know. I can't believe you stopped out. Well, I did. The volume was higher. The buying volume was higher there than it was on this candle. So
yeah, again, and this is where discretionary trading comes into a degree. We don't always set our stop losses right at a new high a day or whatever. Everybody's got their own ways of doing things. There's 1,000 ways to do it, but I don't think your risk management was bad. The volume was roaring in. The buying volume, I think easily, could have blitzed through your initial entry. So again, you stayed in the game. You kept risk management under control, which leads to these next trades, which are some shit.
yeah, they're better.
Yeah, they are better.
Here's an old favorite.
This one here, man. This
Yeah.
one, this is like a seller's 101 trade. Long, nails it, flips it. Yeah, this is one of those.
Thanks, man. This one was
And you called it that you longed it too.
yeah, I thought about posting where I was calling it out in the room, like my plan and everything. Like, I should have done another screenshot. My reason for where I longed it. For one thing, the RSI, and two, you can't see it here, but hell, you know what? I'll talk about it, but I'll pull it up. In after hours yesterday, I noticed this one, which I wasn't trading after hours, but I did notice the way that it went in after hours, and
Yeah, this was like 100%. Was this 100% gapper?
Yeah, it was. It
This was
sure
a
was.
huge gapper.
Let me see here.
And I know some people don't like to short sub $2 or sub $1.50 or especially sub $1. But dude, when they're up 100 or 150%, like it's hard to ignore that range.
Exactly, man. I mean, there's
I used to be the same way. I didn't like shorting sub 150s. Didn't even really like shorting sub 2. Didn't like shorting one sub 150s at all. But in the last year or so, I've put a lot of time into that, and dude, the volatility and the range is like can't ignore. I can't ignore that.
oh, dude. I mean, me neither. And I've been hitting some of the cheapies with you here lately too.
Yep.
Um, Here, sorry, I had to do that. I wanted to get you this other screenshot so I could kind of show. It gives a little bit more of a breakdown into my thesis. Um, but yeah, like I've said, IBIO, an old favorite of mine. It was one of the first ones I ever made like a four-figure trade on back in, I think it was like 2019, man.
Yeah, because this thing's been around for a while.
Yeah, it was like right before the whole COVID madness started going on. It was like right when I was getting real serious about trading, and I hit that thing. Let's see here. I like overnight longed it, and on like a $500, what's it called, Robinhood account, and it it went crazy. It went several 100%. How does that look? Can you see
That's
that pretty
good.
good?
Yep.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is like this is kind of where it started going crazy para in after hours yesterday, and so this line is what I was thinking. Like if it breaks down under 130, like it's, I mean, you hate to stop out there on a long, but it could just keep fading with that pattern. And I mean, made the lower high, everything lower high in pre market, whatever. And it never made a new high. So I I sold the last of my long here, and it looks like an absolute top tick, but I got the short at $1.97, and it was just half size because I thought it was going to blitz through high
I
today.
did too. Me and you both took that same. I think we have the same short entries, and this was another one where I didn't take as much size I wanted because, like you, I was expecting somewhat of like a fake breakout above that 2 level.
Yeah, and I had locates on this all day. Like I thought that when it did this move and it touched VWAP, I thought it might blitz back up and hit that like go a little above pre-market high there. Because this was just kind of trappy, and I knew how it was going to be. It's an Amex stock. I don't trade them well short. But yeah, man, this is one of the bigger wins of the year for me. 'Cause I hit it pretty big right here, and like I took off some there, and then I'm all out at 195. I had the short limit order sitting at 197, and I had the other half that I was going to take at like I had it at like, I think I did them all in 210 and like 213. Like I'll set them at different spots, and then it's like if it fills it and then it dies, I'll start like market ordering in if I have to.
Yeah.
If it like misses my fills.
Right.
But the only time I ever get like a true top tick is when I have limit orders sitting. So it it did that, and after it failed that 180 level, I just covered it all at VWAP. And yeah, right after I covered, obviously it went down to like 140. But
I think I covered around the same spot as you because it was pretty choppy all day, and it acted like it was going to hold VWAP. So I think I got out there too.
yeah, man, I could have.
What's the time of day? That's not an ideal time of day to short stuff.
No, I shorted that that T something the other day that made this same move around this time of day. And I shorted it it made like a similar huge halt up move, and I shorted it on the halt resume, and it just went way higher.
Yeah, like it's the only things I like to. And I was talking to somebody in the room today about this. Most of my trades are taken in the first hour of the day as far as entries go. The only additional entries I'll have after that typically is on like a parabolic, straight up parabolic move. IBIO almost did it, but it wasn't quite there. But we still both took that short because that was a nice level to get into. But afternoon trading, a little more discretionary, a little more conservative, and that's why I took it off at VWAP. Just time of day, it wasn't a true parabolic move and choppy stock, so played it conservative. But this was I could be wrong about this, but I think I covered the same spot as you, and it was like a 12% win.
Yeah, I think that's what I got out of it.
Like again, and I see this one guy say it all the time on Twitter, and I can't even think of his name now, but he says it and he lives by it. He's like, if you could average 5% a day, like from a position standpoint of like gains consistently over time, like what it does to your account is insane. Like
I know, man.
you don't have to have huge 30% wins or whatever. Like they'll happen and they're great, but damn, like consistency with 10 to 12, 15%, like it's way more powerful than you're ever going to hear about on the old FinTwit.
I mean, and I do love having these big percent gains, but like,
Hell yeah, MVLA today was like a 30% gainer, and that felt great.
let's see here. That was yep, this one.
Yeah, I mean, damn, that's one that's like that's a huge. You probably made what 40% on this, maybe more.
Yeah, it was a little
Because
more.
I think I made 30, and I got all out closer to. I don't even remember where I got all out, but my gain was still roughly 30%. Yours got to be 50.
I mean, dude, and at this point right here, I'm almost all out. Like I'm just keeping the little bitty lotto size. I had it for if it broke 5, which was
Yeah.
the 1 minute 200, and like I think I took a screenshot of it after this last cover, and I was like, you know what? I mean, if this thing, I'd let it go back to my break even, just whatever. And the next thing you know, like right after I take a screenshot of it and post it on Twitter, it
Goes
drops.
lower.
Yep, and it went way lower, but
Yeah, it did. But again, this is like, I don't know. I think we played it well. Like, meat of the move. That's what it's all about. It's so hard to catch the whole freaking thing. And
yeah, exactly, man. And then it's like, I nail this one, get full size on it, and I'm patient for all my covers, and then it's like ones like you, I like in hindsight, you made a very similar move like this, but it I mean
yeah, but it had way more volume coming in. That was a different animal.
exactly, and that's my thing is like
You
obviously.
played them well. I mean, in my opinion, from a risk management standpoint, you played them well. Kept you in the game today to get you moves like this and IBIO.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that this one and IBIO were, they made my day. So I don't even care if I lost or didn't make money on SPRC and UUU, even though
Right.
like those are usually just like my bread and butter. Well, UUU is. I mean, SPRC. Like I don't play gappers as well, but I want to get better at it because that would just be. I mean, it'd be nice if I didn't have to only be good at hitting paras.
Yeah, well, you know me. I like a nice midday para, but I also love hitting those gappers. And dude, if I could be done some days trading by 11 o'clock our time, love it.
I know, man. And I'm gonna start taking like that. That's why I'm taking partials on this one a little sooner than with that UUU because people will be like, "Oh, hold it all day," don't take partials. But then it's like, and the damn thing reclaims all the way up to your entry, and you're like, you do like me. You're like, well, if volume's not coming in, I'm not going to cover. But a huge volume's coming in, you have to cover.
Yeah, and sometimes that's where it pays to like have we set our risk levels when we enter in, and that's sometimes where it pays to have target areas. Like if your first target cover here was at that 625 level, then you followed your plan, and like that's what I was saying today about what was it, SPRCE. Like I only got half size. I never added, but that wasn't part of my plan, right? Like my plan was it was a half size trade. I wasn't gonna add because it was already weak, and I was gonna cover at the 1-200 or in a flush below. Obviously, it went way lower. I could have added at that VWAP kiss, but it just wasn't part of my plan. So I got to be happy with it because I followed my plan.
Exactly.
That's what it is, just doing that over and over again. I followed the plan on SPRC to a T. Never got full size, but I followed my plan. So, it's part of it.
Oh yeah.
But
That's
you
right.
just don't see that part on Twitter, typically. So,
man.
I think we traded pretty well overall today. I know I only showed my one trade, but we both traded MVLA. We both traded IBIO, and I had one other trade, and I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. I think. Could be wrong about that. I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, all in all, good into the week. Shit, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, dude. Me too.
Let the armchair hindsight guys come for our necks. And we'll take those profits that we made today, and we will do whatever the hell we want.
That's right.
Because those armchair guys, I would like to know how much they made today.
Me too. Well,
Maybe it was more than us. Maybe it was less.
They
But
only made $1 million today.
only $1 million. Only $1 million. Sounds like Benji.
Yeah. Do you like what I said about him?
I saw it. That
somebody
was
else the other
good.
day say something about his execution engine.
Yeah, I think it was Pete Trade or something like that. One of those guys on Twitter. I don't know. But anyway, I think we traded well today. You traded well today. We made some money today. Had some solid base hits. We had some base hits, but then on something like MVLA, I think I got 30% out of it. You probably got damn near 50% out of it. So
Yeah, it was something like that in total.
I mean, bro, what are we doing with our lives if we're mad at 10%, 20%, 30% gains? Like, that's just where Twitter fucks with people's heads. I can't stand it. It's bullshit. That's what it is. I usually don't try to cuss on here, but sometimes it is. No. Anyway, all right. That's our trade recap. Sorry my video was blurry. I'm going to fix it for the next one because we want to do more of that. We got to figure out the resolutions and ratios and pixel counts, and this ultra wide is great. I would never not have an ultra wide again, but for screen sharing and screen recording, it is the bane of my existence. But I'm gonna figure it out. Anyway, I'm gonna go get a drink. You should get about 10 of them because it's your birthday and it's a 3-day weekend. If anybody says open the markets on Sunday or Monday, like, no, you cut them. You delete them from your Twitter feed. You enjoy every free moment away from the market you can. You can do other stuff. You can back test. You can deep dive into some data. Or you can be like me and spend the weekend trying to figure out how to make these videos be more clear. But enjoy your time away from the markets. Anyway, you have a good birthday.
Thanks, brother.
You got a nice 3-day weekend on your birthday. That's awesome. I just took a couple of days off, but having a 3-day weekend for it is even better. So enjoy every moment. And
I'm going to.
We'll be back at it on Monday. Nope, that's a lie. We'll be back at it on Tuesday. And New Age Wall Street, same as usual. I'm going to put the link in the description this time because I think I failed to do that last time. NewAgeWallStreet.com. I'm going to put it in the description. We are there every day. These things that we traded today were all talked about today. Shit, yep. SPRC was on the watch list this morning.
Yep.
Yeah, man. We'll post it in the description. I appreciate it. I wish again, hindsight. Wish I would have added on that VWAP pop and kiss, but I like to see it drop a little lower and then my ad on VWAP to be more of a move. But yeah, it was fast. If you see, and that's that tape I showed, that's how fast it goes. It is quick. And when you're doing it in the moment, yeah.
Yeah, man,
Anyway,
that in the moment stuff, you know, it's
that's why trading in hindsight is easy, and that's why when people post up calls from their watch list, where they post a watch list with 30 tickers and then call out the 2 that worked, like, okay, great, but what about your other 28 tickers you called out?
yeah, exactly.
I can't stand it. But anyway, we keep it real. It is what it is. We nail some stuff. We have some misses, and we take some losses. It's part of it. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're lying. If people only show you their winners on Twitter, great. And I know there's been cases people that say, "Oh, I only show the good stuff on Twitter for the camaraderie, and I talk about my losses in private with my friends." Totally respect that. Totally get it. I used to criticize that. I've grown and learned that that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But just don't think that everything you see on Twitter is it's how it is all the time. It's not. This is a really hard thing to do. So we make mistakes. It's just part of it.
Yep.
Anyway, that's my
Yeah.
soapbox moment. Let me get off my soapbox. I'm gonna for real go get a drink this time. You enjoy your birthday. Let's outro this thing. Holler at you, I'm sure, this weekend. Holler at y'all on the next video. New Age Wall Street on Tuesday. Peace.
Peace.